Greetings, folks. My name is Benjamin Bro. I'm the program coordinator for Gear Up East Hartford. We're following the East Hartford class of 2025 all the way through high school and into college. And Gear Up, which stands for Gaining Early Awareness and Readiness for Undergraduate Programs, is a fantastic program. We're delighted to be working with East Hartford High School, with SEBA, with the Office of Family and Community Partnerships, and a whole range of stakeholders in our large community to support students and families. Gear Up East Hartford's vision is that all students will be academically, socially, and financially ready to succeed in post-secondary opportunities of all kinds, whether it's college, whether it's career. There'll be so many sort of things that this program will help students do, help families do. Tutoring, advising and mentoring, after school and summer programs, STEM exploration, SEL, social emotional learning workshops, PSAT and SAT prep, college access and career readiness, FAFSA help, financial aid applications, scholarships, bridge programs from high school to college, academic advising when students get to college, internships, all kinds of opportunities. And then ultimately family engagement and support is a huge part of what we want to do. And that's where this workshop comes from. PowerSchool and Google Classroom are really important tools for parents and students, so they can sort of stay organized and understand requirements that are coming through, help students manage their time, and wanted to do this presentation to make sure that folks had resources they need to support their students. So grateful that you're all here. Thank you so much to Rachel and Vincent for joining us. They'll introduce themselves, and I'll very quickly hand it off to them so that they can do their thing. Rachel, a teacher at SEBA, will introduce us to Google Classroom, some of the powers there, and Vincent, a coordinator at the Office of Family and Community Partnerships, will take us through what PowerSchool can do for families. Folks, thank you so much. I'll hand it off to you. They'll share their screen. We'll be off and running.
Okay, my name is Rachel Buck. I'm a math teacher at SEBA. So I'm going to talk today about Google Classroom. So let me get my screen shared. I can present to you. Okay, so the best way for you to stay involved with your students' Google Classroom is through email summaries. So by this point, you should have received an email through the account that is attached to PowerSchool, and it would look something like this. And on the invite, it gives you an option to accept or state that you are not the guardian. Obviously, hopefully it is the correct email address, and you would accept that. Once you hit the accept button, it will take you to a place to choose whether you would like weekly, daily, or no summaries. Now, if you are accessing this through a Google account, you have all three options. If you are accessing it through a non-Google account, then you will only be able to receive weekly summaries. If you change your mind at any point after you start receiving these summaries, at the bottom of a Google Classroom email summary, you can go to settings, and that will allow you to change whether you want weekly or daily summaries. So you can go right back to the page that we were in before. It would show up just like this, and then you'd be able to determine or to change your mind on how often you get your summaries. So when you get your summary, it's going to look something like this. I have a child who's a sophomore at SEBA, so I fortunately am able to, I get these summaries on a daily basis as well. So you're going to get a list of things that are due in the next few days. It will say what the class is, it will give you some assignment details, and it will give you a due date. Then it will also, in the summary, give you everything that's been posted by each class, the announcements, the assignments, any kind of materials that were posted. It will all show up in your email, so you can see what's happening in class, what the objectives were of the day were. It definitely is a good way to engage with your students to find out what it is that they're learning. Additionally, it will give you a list of things that are missing from the previous week. So if there's any assignments that are missing, it will tell you the due date and what it is that's missing. And this is a good way to keep on top of kids to make sure that they're turning in all of their assignments. If you receive a weekly summary, it looks a little bit different. So it has all of the same information. It's just consolidated by week. So you'll see any work that was posted, anything that's missing, anything that's due, and any class activity from the previous week. So it's kind of more information all at once. So the other way that you can kind of engage with students and their Google Classroom pages is, I've heard it called the over-the-shoulder look. So it's by helping them or looking over their shoulder when they're doing their homework or when they're checking what they need to do so that you can see what they see. So I just wanted to give you an overview of what their Google Classroom page looks like so you kind of know what you're looking for. So at the top of the main page, there is a little box that says, or a little thing that says to do. And if you click on that box, you will see all of the upcoming assignments. It will allow you to see assignments that are due that day, within the next few days, or even into the future. Additionally, under each individual class, there is a little, it will list any assignments up to 3 that are due for that class that are upcoming. Additionally, when you go to any one specific class, you can see that there will be a Meet link. And so if your child is approved for virtual learning for any reason, and that approval does come through the principal, they would need to click on this Meet link in order to join their classes from home. At the top in the bar here, on the left-hand side, you can see all of the upcoming assignments. You can also click on View All, which will give you, if there's more than 3 that are listed there. And the Stream, which is this main page of your Google Classroom, lists announcements and possibly assignments depending on the teacher's choice. On the classwork page of Google Classroom, students are able to see all of their assignments for that class. At the very top, there's a link that says View Your Work, and that takes them to a list of all of the assignments that they have submitted for that class. It will list assignments as turned in late, assigned if they haven't come due yet, and it will list them as missing. So that list of assignments allows students to see quickly if they've turned everything in over the entire course. At the top of the classwork page, there's also another link to the Google Meet, and there's a link to the student's Google Calendar, which allows them to see the assignments in calendar format. And there's a link to their class drive folder. And so that folder is a Google folder in their drive that houses all of the documents they've submitted for that one class. So if they're specifically looking for an English class paper, then they could click on the class drive folder for English and would be able to find the paper in that folder. If they're on the classwork page and they click on the assignment from the list of all of the assignments, they're able to see kind of an overview of what the assignment is. And then at the bottom, they click the link that says View Assignment, and they get a page that looks like this. So there's lots of information right here about the assignment. At the bottom left, they're given the opportunity to add class comments. So that is something that the teacher and all of the students in the class can see. On the bottom right, they can add a private comment. So if they had a question or they needed to address the teacher directly, that would be the best place to put that. And then on the top where it says Your Work, it allows you to add or create any necessary assignments. It also allows you to turn in an assignment, or if there's no attachment necessary, it will say Mark as done, and then they can mark that as completed. However, do be forewarned that sometimes kids will turn in blank pages or mark things as done just so their parents are like, oh, they did everything. They don't have anything missing. So just, keep that in mind. If they're telling you they have everything done and the teacher's saying otherwise, it's possible they're turning in blank documents. So if students are absent, then they are able to see the learning targets, the class agenda and or notes, and any assignments that and classwork and things like that that were done in class that day. So this allows them to kind of keep up to date on things that they missed. And I know for me and for many teachers, that's the first place to look if you're absent, so that you know what you missed, so that you can do that assignment. Apologize. That's all I got. We are going to take this presentation and we're going to print it out in PDF format. And Mr. Briel will share that with you, correct? Through email? Yes, at a later date.
Correct.
Yeah, so that was a quick overview of the different things the different ways that Google Classroom can help you.
Yeah, well, I'll turn it over to Vincent. Thank you so much, Rachel. We definitely wanted to, create a kind of bite-sized, sort of digestible introduction to some of these tools, Google Classroom and PowerSchool, and building handouts, making sure folks have resources, recording this. Wonderful. Rachel, thank you so much. It's really helpful to see how ultimately that all sort of connects and folks can be on the same page using these tools.
No
Vincent,
problem.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Vincent Crawford. I coordinate family and community partnerships here for East Hartford Public Schools. So I do this kind of district-wide. And I think in tandem to the presentation that we just had, I wanted to talk a bit about PowerSchool as another tool and resource here in district that we have to connect with families, make sure that everyone kind of knows what's going on and that we're all on the same page. So whereas Google Classroom gives you a really content rich, here's what's going on day to day, I think PowerSchool is a little bit more of a high level way of communicate what's going on. So I want to start with just what is PowerSchool. This is actually information that came right from the PowerSchool website. So I won't bore you with the exact wording, but what's important to know is that this is our student information system. So this is how we keep track of daily student attendance, grades, both current grades and historical grades. One thing to note here is that Google Classroom is going to give you day-to-day, more accurate information. What PowerSchool is going to offer is a little more of the larger scale, right? It's not updated as frequently. There's an opportunity to receive teacher comments. For our high schoolers, the student graduation progress. So you'll get an idea of kind of where your student is in their process working towards graduation. School information, and then also really important are forms. Typically, these are all things that are taken care of early, but if there's anything outstanding, you'll be able to find all of those. So creating a parent account is kind of where we'll start, looking at what it's like to sign up for one. You'll visit eh.powerschool.com. What's really important to note here is that if you have a child that goes to a school that's outside of East Hartford Public Schools, it is not the same website. You need the eh.powerschool to get to the East Hartford page. When you do that accurately, you'll see that it says Welcome to East Hartford Public Schools. When you're creating your first account, you'll want to go to the Create Accounts tab. It's located, you can see it's highlighted on the screenshot there. On the next page, you'll click on Create Account. This will bring you to a page to create your parent account. The top portion is all going to be your information. So that's your first name, last name, your email address. You'll have to enter that twice. And then you'll create your desired username and password. I recommend doing something that's relatively easy to remember so that you're able to log in, though we can always support you on the back end if ever you forget that information. What's really key is the next step, which is where you're linking to your student accounts. Here you'll enter your student name. First, it's their last name and then their first name. You'll enter for your access ID. This is really important as well. Your student's ID number. You enter that backwards. This is the part that often gets people kind of hung up there. And then for the password, it's actually their student ID forwards. So you should have received this information. If not, at this point, most students know their student IDs, so they can get you that information. You'll enter your relationship to student. There's a number of options. So it can be mother, father, aunt, uncle, caregiver, number of different ways. So you can select what best fits for you. Once you've successfully entered that information, you'll be brought back to the login screen. when you log in for the first time, you'll be brought to a page that looks somewhat similar to this. You'll be able to see a number of options for what's offered through PowerSchool. You'll be able to set up a number of email notifications that you get. You'll be able to view teacher comments. As I talked before, there's forms. It's highlighted here in yellow. Those typically are ones that are done, again, as you register for school. But if there's anything missing, whether it be for devices or use of Google Classroom, all of that information is located here. You can adjust settings. So some people want to receive daily attendance notes. You can set that up and adjust it as you wish, kind of as you log into the account. That's all under email notifications. Again, you can look at school information. So if you're looking to contact the principal at school and you're looking for a number, all of that is there. And then lastly, like a lot of other web applications, there is an app for that available through the Apple Store or Google Play Store. What you will need when you're logging in for the first time is our district code, which is the letter SZKN. You'll enter that information with your login, and you'll have that as an app. So with that, if there are any questions from anyone, I'll definitely pause for that. I also have my contact information that we can send out later. Often people create accounts and then maybe you don't log in for a while, and you want to check on attendance and you forget either your login information or you've forgotten your password. Those are all things that definitely here to help out with. But I'm going to pause and see if there are any questions from anyone. And stop sharing.
Yeah, I have a question. I tried to log in on the email that you had, and it didn't work for the East Hartford PowerSchool.
Okay, so the website that you went to, eh.powerschool.com?
Mm-hmm. Maybe I forgot the dot. Let me try it again. Does not secure. No.
I put the direct address in the chat as well. I don't know if that's helpful.
Yeah, maybe that will work. Appreciate you sending that. There should be a link there. See if that one works for you.
Chat. Yeah, this one works.
Okay. Ben, thank you for that. And what I can do is right now we're recording, but if after you run into any issues, I can connect with you and kind of walk through and help set up anything from there.
Yeah, I'll be sure afterwards to send out contact information. You'll have mine. Vincent's, their entire office is fantastic, and we'll make sure that you have contact information for folks directly in East Hartford and East Hartford High School and ZEBA too. There's always a whole team there ready to answer questions, etc. Vincent, I really like the way you sort of emphasized how Google Classroom and PowerSchool tend to work in tandem, right? For parents, caregivers, the Google Classroom, you'll get the sort of the assignment level, the granular sort of day-to-day agenda sort of stuff. PowerSchool allows you to keep sort of progress long term, and I think it's important to realize that I've seen this. My daughter's in 7th grade. There's grades in there already. But the reality is, as those come in, as teachers report those, and they'll all have their routines, those will change, and the way they're weighted, all of that stuff. So it's checking with PowerSchool periodically, recognizing that at different intervals, the grades will report, and so those are two tools that are sort of used on different levels.
Definitely, both are important. Serve a slightly different role, but very connected.
Bianca, as you sort of get set up, I'll, in some ways, just give some closing remarks. I'll stop the recording, but we'll still be here. And so, you know, as you get set up, if you know, I have a couple more minutes certainly, and can be here to walk you through. So, if there are no other questions, I'll sort of offer some closing remarks, but we don't necessarily have to end this session. I'm grateful for everyone here, for all the work that so many people do in East Hartford, and educators, community organizations, parents, students. To be a part of this as part of Gear Up East Hartford is just really cool for me. Where there's more coming. Excited for all of it, to continue to build relationships and to sort of explore all the different possibilities for students and families in the years to come. It's really cool. So thank you all. On behalf of Gear Up East Hartford and East Hartford High School, SEBA, the Office of Family and Community Partnerships, thanks for being here today. For folks jumping in to a live session, visiting us tomorrow night, we'll be here at 6:30, Wednesday night, the 15th, and we'll certainly send this recording out to make sure that folks have the resources they need, and our door is always open. So take care, everyone. I hope you're well, and more soon.